We had some other really, really random news in the NBA. We're going to go and start this one off with Mr. Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis, if you haven't heard the news, is
that
now
picture you got.
Huh? Yeah, right. You like that?
Very fitting.
That face says it all
Very
right now.
Fitting
Man.
for what the hell we're talking about right now.
All right, so
that's exactly the picture that they took right when they found out.
This is a very interesting situation here, man. All right, so if you haven't heard yet, because this just happened about 4 or 5 hours ago, the NBA is suspending Bobby Portis for 25 games for their anti-drug policy. So according to Portis, what happened was, you see what had happened. What happened with Bobby Portis is that he was actually taking a prescription which is for what was it? Sorry, excuse me. I had it written down here, and I should know this one. Oh, he was taking Toradol, which is a legal, according to the NBA, on their drug policy. You are allowed to do it as an anti-inflammatory for recovery. What happened, according to him, is that he accidentally took Tramadol, which is a controlled substance, which he popped positive for. It was only a one-time thing, according to him. He's never failed any other drug test in any time in his career. He's suspended without pay, mind you, and he's going to lose about $2 million for taking this drug. G-Mike, do you think the crime fits the punishment of what's going on with Bobby Portis?
If that is the truth, that it was by accident, I don't think that he should get suspended at all. And I don't think that he should get fined. I know that there has to be an investigation that goes about that. And they can't just, come down to a conclusion right away. But if he's saying, because it was his assistant coach that gave him the
correct,
they don't just grab stuff; they get the stuff given to them. So if all that is true, why are we suspending the guy? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I get it. We're trying to be double down on everybody taking some performance enhancing drugs, but
this is neither one of those two either, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, it was an accident. So it's like,
what? I'll play devil's advocate with it as well. I that's my trait. That's what I do. Besides this, is I work in the pharmacy. So they do sound very much alike, and there would most likely be some sort of sticker saying "look alike, sound alike," because that is a very common thing. Now, if you have to play the bad guy in it somehow, it's also like, okay, man, so if you happen to take some HGH and it's like, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to do that, and now I'm 50 pounds stronger and recovered so much faster. So I understand why they're coming down on him, because there has to be some sort of rules or regulation you have to follow. But having said that,
a performance enhancing drug, correct?
Right, correct, and that's difference, right? And that is a major difference. Now, Tramadol would just basically be a mild form of a painkiller. And so it's an unfortunate situation, and I will give Bobby Portis credit. He hasn't made a huge stink. He hasn't made calling NBA out or anything. He said, you know what, I screwed up. I should have been paying attention. I am responsible for what goes in my body. So he's not blaming anybody. He was like, it's very unfortunate. His agent, the coach, everybody has come out on his side and saying he's not that kind of guy. This is unheard of, and it was an honest mistake. But I will give him credit. He has manned up and been like, ultimately, it is on me. I put it in my body. BC, man, what's your thoughts on this? Does a crime match the punishment?
No, I would tend to agree with George a little bit on this. And also, too, if you want to suspend the guy potentially while the investigation's going on, okay, maybe you could make that argument. But it's like, why are we fining him already when it's like, this investigation has not really concluded yet? Like, we haven't really fully looked into it. Why are you bringing up in terms of money? And now, if it turns out that, foul play or he's guilty, like, yeah, sure. Like, then you can start talking about fines. If you maybe want to take away a little bit of suspension or whatever, or do a little bit of a suspension, fine. But don't start taking the guy's money away until you've actually proven, okay, he's guilty or okay, he's not. Or I would even be open to the case of, while you're investigating, let him play. And then maybe then, if he is found guilty, suspend him. Like, if it actually is malfeasance or whatever in it, then suspend him. Like, I don't know why it has to be, let's suspend first, ask questions later. Like, no.
Exactly.
Ask the question first.
Exactly. And now, like, pertaining to how this is going to affect the team in this last second half of the season, because each team in the NBA right now only has anywhere from 24 to 27 games left in the season. So he suspended 25 games. He's not going to get back into the NBA playoffs. Yep. So what does this mean for the Bucks? Their chemistry is going to be lost. He's
Yeah.
gonna be rusty when he comes back, and now the Bucks are gotta play with another player that's gonna play more minutes in his replacement, and it's just gonna be a whole cluster, a whole cluster mess. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, man, like just like BC said, like investigate it first, and then if you come to the conclusion later on during the season, you know, you don't want to suspend them for the playoffs, so you suspend them in the beginning of the next season. Like it's as easy as that.
Yeah, or if you do find him guilty and you want to make a statement, then it's like, okay, yeah, now, yeah, congratulations, you got him for those regular season games or whatever. Now you actually will miss them for the playoffs, and it does mean something. You're sending an even bigger message at that point by withholding the punishment until you actually prove it. Like that's how it should be.
I don't know, man. I just think it sucks for Milwaukee for sure. It sucks.
Yeah, it does. And it's not like if they find out, after everything, like, oh, hey, sorry, it's not as bad as we thought. They can't give them those games back. You can't go back and change time. You can't go back and reverse that chemistry. Like the damage is done.
Yeah, no, I agree, man, and that is a lot. And Bobby Portis, let's face it, he's not your marquee player that's going to be making a bunch of money. $2 million of lost pay. That's definitely going to hit the pockets on him. And I guess it's for every major one of these sporting organizations, they got to figure out punishments correctly, man, because there's so many times the crime is one thing and you get 4 games and then you do something else and it's 50 games or something, like it's just unfortunate. If this guy had a history of failing drug tests or something, then okay. And on top of it too, like you were saying, it was not performance enhancing drug. So at worst case scenario, it might have made him play worse because he would feel like crap because, taking the controlled substance that he was taking is definitely not going to make you feel like you can run better. You're not going to shoot the ball better because you took that, if anything, it would make him feel worse or his game might be a little bit off. So it's really tough because yes, he did do something wrong. So I think there should be something, but I think 25 games is a huge, an overstep over for what it was. Now, if he got, like I was saying, HGH an example or some other form of drug, then okay, throw it at him. That makes sense. But come on, man, like that one isn't really. And what's wild too is that in the NBA they don't test for weed. So let's get this straight now. He can show up to this place high, but don't be high on something that's a controlled substance that's gonna make you feel a little bit better, possibly. Like, come on, man. Like they gotta figure this stuff out. It's not really fair, and they gotta just work it out, I suppose.
Yeah, they definitely are behind on doing this stuff. It seems like they just kind of implement something at the beginning and it's like, oh yeah, it's great, it's fine. But instead of fine tuning it, they just kind of slack off and just wait for something like this to happen and then say, oh, okay, yeah, now we'll fix it. It's like you could have handled this like 5 years ago.
Why would just now figure it out? According to Doc Rivers, though, this happened, like this test happened a while ago, and he was prescribed, so he was actually prescribed the Toradol. So even worse, this happened a little while ago, and so I don't know how long it was in the system or what the case may be or something. So that's a little interesting aspect of it as well, is that this wasn't like it happened yesterday or something. So
okay, so they did an investigation then.
Apparently,
because if it happened a while ago, that means that they've done it.
According to Doc Rivers, I mean, who knows? So he could just be trying to make it in light of something. I'm not 100% sure, but the investigation had said that he popped, and there's not much.
So let's go off of that. Right? So it's been a while. They've been doing the investigation. They come to a conclusion that it was an accident, and they still give him 25 days without it being a performance-enhancing drug.
Yeah, I could go with 10 games. Maybe 10 games, cut it in half, or something like that. But I think that's just a little bit too much.
Yeah, just give him a little slap on the wrist and be like, yeah, next time don't screw that up. But
and then just to put this out there, I know there's 2 different situations, but just to put this out there, Jackson Hayes was seen slapping his girlfriend.
I was waiting.
The guy hasn't been suspended 1 game, and everybody saw that because it was all over Twitter, it was all over IG. I'm pretty sure everyone in the NBA saw that video, and nothing has happened to that guy.
Don't take prescription drugs.
What are we doing?
Don't take prescription drugs, kids, but you can slap your girl all you want.
Yeah, so that's where we're getting at with the crime. They got to figure out how they're doing this stuff. I mean, the NFL. I mean, not even a different organization, but the NFL has been yelled at so many times because they cannot get this straight either. With their domestic violence, you got your DUI cases, you got all this different stuff. they cannot figure this stuff out. They really have to come to grips with it because sometimes the crime doesn't always fit the punishment.
So not to give the NFL an excuse, because I don't think there's an excuse at all for domestic violence, but these dudes get hit in the head so many times during week to week to week. So their head is not on straight. It's not screwed on straight. Basketball players have no excuse, and this guy's still doing it.
Yeah. It's definitely a TBD. Let's see I'm not sure if he's going to be able to.
Same standard across the board.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's able to appeal this at all and further if there's any kind of extra investigation or anything else that he can do, or this is just set in stone. You're getting your 25 and we're going to move on.